I are here today to talk about several topics. We're going to be here in my tiny house, and then we're going to be outside as well. We're going to be talking about things that we've done over the last few months that hopefully will be important and interesting for people to learn and know about. So our first topic is, what are we talking about?
Well, we're checking in with you since you've been eating grain and sugar-free for almost a year now.
Yep. So last summer, it was actually the end of June, so it's been at least 9 months, March, April, May, June. So it's been about 9 months since I made the commitment to try to go completely grain-free and sugar-free. And the main reason I wanted to do it was to see if I could completely get the inflammation down in my body and hopefully get off of a very expensive medicine that I take for rheumatoid arthritis. So I haven't gotten off the medicine, but it can take many months to maybe longer to be able to do that, and I haven't really tried yet. But I definitely have done very well at being almost grain-free and sugar-free for these 9 months. And the hardest times, I think one of your questions was,
when is it hard? What do you struggle with?
Yes.
How do you stay on track?
Yes.
with not eating grain or sugar?
Yes. And it hasn't been 100%, but I've done better than probably any time ever. So the first few months, I went on a flight to Brazil in August, and I did great. The people I stayed with were so supportive, and they made sure I took some of my sugar packs that I use. I can go I took a bunch of them, so I'll go get it real quick. I use these sugar packs. I can take them with me on the flight. This is Whole Earth, and so these have stevia, monk fruit, and erythritol. So I load myself up in my suitcase and backpack, and I take a bunch of these, so I have them on the flight. Then I also have them in my suitcase, and that helped a lot. So
will they let you through those through TSA?
Yep.
Okay.
No issues. So I've always done that to help, so I wouldn't have to eat sugar. Staying away from grains was a little bit harder. So. But like I said, my friend, we've been friends for 19 years since I went down to Brazil the very first time when my grandson was born. And she was very, very supportive. So the whole time I was there, I did really well. I didn't eat anything on the plane on the way down because I took food. And then, but the hard part was on the way back. Going to Brazil is a very long flight. It was 11 or 12 hours coming home. And I didn't have a way to go to the grocery store and load up like I would if I'm here, because I don't even know how to read all the stuff. And I stayed with my son-in-law's family, which that was a little bit harder as far as staying away from the grains. I don't think I ate any. I didn't. I did on the plane, though, because I had plane food. And there was nothing, that I could do to avoid it coming home. So that was the first day from June until August. And then after that, I think I did really well until the holiday.
What happened during the holidays?
Yeah, that was hard because I went to 2 Christmas parties. And all I could eat there was ham.
Oh, no.
And not get any sugar or carbs or things I didn't know that were in the foods. So I went to one party that was about 45 minutes from here. I took the ham. And seems like I took something else. I did take a plate of ham, and to both parties, but it wasn't a huge plate, and if everybody was going to get some, I couldn't just eat all the ham. So I did try very hard to eat just vegetables as best I could, and try not to eat any dessert. I think I ate a sliver of pecan pie, and that was it. I didn't really, if something was in the vegetables or in some of it, I couldn't avoid it, but if it was very little. And then the second Christmas party, it was same thing. I took the ham. I did eat a bunch of ham, but, they had a couple of dishes there, but I could taste there was a little bit of sugar. But I did really, really well. I tried to just get the vegetables. And so the parties were definitely difficult.
How was it for you in the beginning when you were cutting all of that out and you had just started? Did you go through withdrawals? Did you have cravings?
I did, and it was so unexpected because I'd been low carb for, I don't know,
Years.
6 or 7 years. So I didn't eat a lot of sugar or carbs, and I occasionally ate a little bread. You know, I got stuck somewhere at a meal and I ate a little bread, but I rarely ate sugar. Every now and then I just like craved a little bit of something sweet, and I might
have a sweet tooth.
I do. So like I'd get an ice cream cone. If people left things on the counter at the clinic, I was kind of, every now and then I would eat something I shouldn't. I think it's just like when I tell my patients, oh, I only eat a little of this and a little of that. I never eat donuts, but I ate a donut the other day. I never eat pizza, but I had some pizza. You know, I think it adds up before we realize it. And even in my case, I think it had. And I literally went through withdrawal that first week, and I was like, I was irritable. I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. I was irritable. And then the next week, I was less irritable, but I still had some. And by the third week, I was good. So I was like, I had to count every single day. I made it another day. I made it another day. I made it another day. I was so proud of myself every time I made it another day. And then eventually I stopped, counting that I made it another day. So the good thing was I didn't crave. I really lost my craving so much. There could be stuff on the back counter and I could walk past it. And I was like, oh. The other thing that I noticed was that typically, let's say I just ate a donut, there was something back on the back counter and I ate one. Well, then I ate 6. Yeah. Not quite 6, but I would eat 3 or 4.
It's hard to stop.
Yes. I would just say, okay, I ate one, so I just trashed it. The rest of the day was trashed. And that's stopped. I have not done that since. Have literally not done that since. So that was really beneficial. I still struggle. I've had one, I probably could count on one hand, counting the August at Christmas was 3, and I may have had 2 more days where I ate something because I was so hungry and I didn't have anything with me. So what I started doing was I loaded up, I was working from January until last week. I was working every day full time at the clinic from 8 until 5. And it was actually easier because I loaded the fridge up with food. I brought all the things. I brought yogurt and I made sure I had lunch every single day, and I had things in the freezer I could pull out if I got stuck. I have snacks all around my desk, meat sticks and things that I can have. So that really helped for those 2 or 3 months. It really did. And I think the only other time I have to go eat monthly with other doctors and for meetings. And I'm trying to think. I had a diet drink, and I usually don't drink diet drinks. I had a diet drink, but that wasn't sugar and it wasn't grain. Because I love Diet Dr. Pepper. So I love
Dr. Pepper
I know,
too. I haven't had one in years.
I know. I have not had a real one in a very long time. But I did drink Diet Dr. Pepper. But I think I did really well with the meal. Yeah, because I always just ask for meat and vegetables. So it's gone really, really well. I lost 9 pounds really fast.
Wow.
In the first month. Then I didn't lose any more. And then I gained it back when I was eating at the clinic because I was eating too much. I was like snacking because I had all the foods.
Yeah.
So, I made custard. That was the thing I did. I had so much milk and I had so many goose eggs and custard. I made custard out of the goose eggs. And the milk has more sugar in it. It has and I don't typically drink milk ever. But I was eating custard every day for breakfast. And buddy, I just put the 9 pounds right back on. So I said, okay, no more custard because the milk has milk sugar in it. So I got to quit doing custard. Other than that, I think, so I did get a little bit of that sweet, I think, And so once the custard was gone, I've been good. I've been back to yogurt, doing my yogurt every day, which does not, and I ferment my yogurt a really long time so it doesn't have sugar in it. Right, right. So.
What about...
Come here. No, it's okay. It's okay, no dog.
She doesn't like that I'm here in her house.
Yeah.
She's a one mama type of dog.
She is.
So
I hadn't fed you yet. I gotta feed you.
What about with your RA and the pain that you felt and, your joints, and how has that changed, or have you noticed a difference since you cut out all the grains and the sugar?
I'm not too good at noticing myself.
Oh, no.
I'm really bad. I know when I hurt a lot that when I stop, I'm going, ooh, I hurt a lot. But I don't notice in the moment. You want to get down? I don't notice in the moment. So I feel like, I think I'm doing generally really well. I think what would be the telling tale would be if I started to try to get off the medicine and go to every other day. And then, because the medicine has really helped. Then I would probably really know how well. So, and I'm going to try to do that. I'm just preparing for the hike that I'm going to do in August. So I'm a little nervous about doing it before August, but I think August will be 1 year. And I think then I'm really going to start trying to back off the medicine. So I'm going to try to make sure I continue to do really well. And then I'm going to start, backing off. So we'll see. I feel good in general. Getting ready for the hike, I've injured myself a little bit or pulled, muscles. So, but it hasn't been joints. I haven't had any flare-ups of joints. I've just pulled muscles. So I'm trying to go really carefully.
Because you've been wrecking, huh?
Yes.
The backpack and
I
the
have.
weights.
I have. And I'll probably do some of that today while we're doing our video. Because I carry right now I'm up to 22 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So I do my stepper and I do my trampoline and I have a balance box outside. And so I try to do, I don't use the rucking on the trampoline, of course, but I do on the other things. And then I do my chores with it. So it's gone. I think it's gone generally really well. And I want to, I'm hoping I can encourage other people to do it, to be motivated, to try to just get off sugar and grain as much as possible.
So along those lines, what has been hard about it? You have to prepare a lot of stuff ahead of time. You bring your own sugar substitute with you wherever you go. What's been the most challenging part of it for you?
I think one thing, just in my life, I've always thought about food. My kids used to say I'm just messed up on food because I'm always thinking about food because I'm trying to always eat healthy. But I think it's been a little bit harder because I definitely must prepare ahead of time, all the time. I must always be prepared ahead of time. So I put a cooler in my car. I got one of those little thick, smaller coolers that fits right behind my seat. That's been really good because I have these little frozen things that I can freeze to put in there to keep everything cold. And it keeps things cold for many hours. So if I leave the clinic and I go to the nursing home or I have to go do home visits, I put drinks and food in there. That's been really helpful. And having that little cooler, because that's the hardest time I have is when I'm in the car and going places and I can't, I have to have something with me just in case I get really hungry.
Because fast food isn't an option if you've removed grains and sugar.
No. And I have caught myself a time or two where I just had fast food over this past 9 months. And I just would go to McDonald's or Burger King and get burgers, tomatoes and lettuce, and mustard. And that's it. I think I did a diet drink a couple of times, but I really try hard not to do it because I'm not sure. I feel like it might mess up my gut, and I want to keep my gut bacteria in good shape. So occasionally I have gotten burgers. I'll get 2 or 3 hamburgers, quarter pounders, and just eat that. But I think I've only done that maybe twice, maybe 3 times. I'm trying to think if I did it sometimes when I travel to see my kids, because they're 2 to 4 hours, 5 hours away. But I haven't been doing that as much since last August. So that is an option you can do when you get stuck on the road. But I really try to take have my cooler with me, which has really helped.
And it's a little bit easier for you because you don't have to prepare food for a bunch of people. It's just you at this point, right?
Yes. And I do have a partner, Tim.
Is he doing it?
He helps. He's always supported whatever I'm eating. So he's very good at cooking. His food tastes good. The one thing he probably has a struggle with is vegetables. He's from Louisiana, always prepared meats and seafoods and fish and all that really well. And usually one little vegetable. But I'm trying to eat more vegetables now. I'm trying to do, and we're going to talk about that, I guess, in a bit, but how do you determine how much, of each macro that we need to eat? Do you want me to go ahead and do that now? We can repeat it again if we need to. So one thing I'm trying to do is, which I teach my patients, how much meat do we need to eat? How many vegetables? How do we determine what's good for us? And then how much fat? And
especially if you don't have the time to plug everything into, an app to calculate it.
Yeah, and we can talk about apps and stuff later. So I use the hand method. So I always tell people, if you're trying to figure out how much protein, aim for the palm of your hand. Because that's 3 to 4 ounces, which is maybe 5 ounces, which is depending on eggs and meat and beef and stuff and fish, that's approximately 25 to 30 grams per meal.
Of protein.
Yep, okay. And that's about what you want. You want to get 25 to 30 grams per meal of protein. And if you only eat 2 meals a day, that's not a huge amount. You will get protein in other items too, like yogurt and things like that. But I tell people, just aim for the palm of your hand. A man's palm is going to be a lot bigger, and
Mine is bigger.
Yes.
I'm tall.
And you're taller, and you need more protein than I do. I'm short and smaller, so the next thing is vegetables. So I've just come up with this recently. How do you determine how much vegetables? So if you think about 2 palmfuls, 2 different vegetables, so you get a variety. So it doesn't have to be a full palm, but like if you think about lettuce or cabbage, or think about 2 palmfuls.
Sauteed vegetables.
Yes.
Yeah.
And once you cook it, it might get a little smaller than that, and that's okay. But think about 2 palmfuls of vegetables. And try to eat that with every meal. So you got your protein and your 2 palms of vegetables. Well, then how much fat? So there's already fat in your protein most of the time, but you want to add fat to your vegetables to make them taste good. But you want healthy fat, which we won't go into in this video. But the idea is to think about the size of the length anyway of your thumb.
Okay.
Maybe a little bigger around, but definitely
so like a pat of butter.
Yes.
Or
this amount of chicken fat, beef tallow, real butter. About the length of the size of your thumb. You can take it from the meat that you saute and use that. You can use bacon grease. You can use butter.
Rendered lard.
Yep, and you can put it on your vegetables, and that makes it taste really good. So that's kind of how to think about how to keep the sugar out of your diet and the grains out of your diet. Because if you eat plenty of 2 handfuls of vegetables and that meat, and the fat, you got to have the fat, that you're going to be really satisfied, and you won't be so hungry before the next meal. And I found that to be very true. So,
that makes it easier than
it's then trying
apps.
To yes. I didn't do well with the apps. It takes too much time to sit there and input everything. It's very, very hard.
So we were going to talk a little bit about the fact that I'm trying to do it too.
Yes, and your situation is way different than mine.
Yeah.
You were like me when I had kids and homeschooling and all that, and a family to cook for. So tell me, how do you do these things? And especially if you've got picky kids, what do you do?
So I'm a mom. I have 3 kids, my I've tried to give myself a little bit more grace if I don't do it 100% of the time, because I found that, you know, like you were saying, oh, the day is ruined if I have something. You know, my son's birthday was last week. I made him a cake and I had a piece because, you know, I want to still be able to enjoy things. But I do feel a lot better when I cut out the carbs and the grains and sugar. So what I'll do is if I make, you know, like a healthy beef stroganoff sauce or something for the kids, it's got, you know, like beef stew meat and mushrooms, and I'll use like blended up cottage cheese or a probiotic sour cream and, you know, beef stock and stuff. For them, I'll do, you know, maybe organic noodles because they're kids and they love a noodle. But I'll separate the sauce out and I'll roast a spaghetti squash for me, or, you know, if I'm really wanting that same texture, I'll do cassava or chickpea noodles, but I don't do those all the time because I don't feel super great when I eat them all the time.
Yeah.
But I try to do stuff like that, or foods where they don't miss the carbs in them, like burger bowls are definitely a big hit in my house. So especially during the summer when I have everything in the garden, like lettuce and tomatoes, I'll pick a big thing of, you know, butter lettuce or romaine, cook up some ground beef and some bacon and put that on top of the lettuce, and then let everybody, you know, top it how they want. So slices of cheddar cheese or pickles.
Oh, wow,
or
that sounds really good.
drizzle or ketchup on it, red onions, cucumbers.
Yep.
So it's kind of, you know, like a very hearty salad, but if you tell kids it's a burger in a bowl, then they'll eat it.
That's like a great idea. You could probably also do similar to a Mexican bowl like that too.
I do, you know, burrito bowls, but swap out the rice for rice cauliflower. And even my picky kids will eat that, or I'll do fried rice, but with rice cauliflower. So it has, you know, veggies, and sometimes I put kimchi in it, or shrimp and eggs, and just kind of swapping out the carbier stuff for healthier options, or giving them options and me having something separate that works.
So they get to choose, which makes them feel a little bit more in control. Yeah.
And I don't think I am as strict on carbs as you are. Like, I'm definitely avoiding grains, but I do eat, you know, sweet potatoes and potatoes. So a loaded baked potato is something that the kids love, and I'll do a sweet potato for me. But if I have a bunch of healthy protein and sauteed vegetables on it, it's very filling and, you know, still a kid-pleasing meal. Because especially if you put cheese, you know, on anything, they'll eat it.
And I have to say that I've done some potatoes because I haven't done grains and sugar. I haven't done a lot, but if I'm with somebody, I have chosen a potato before. Just because it didn't go against the rule. It wasn't super low carb. There was something we were eating in Brazil. You may remember this. Pão de queijo. Which is
cheese bread.
Cheese bread. But it was made with mandioca.
It's tapioca flour.
Yes, which is not... So I did eat those while I was there, and I was so worried that I was going to gain a ton of weight, and I didn't.
They're delicious.
Yes, they're very, very good. So I considered that no grains still and no sugar. So pão de queijo was pretty, oh my gosh. I stopped eating them, of course, when I came home, and we typically only ate one with our breakfast, but some were this big. Some were smaller, but then they had the big ones. And occasionally I might eat two, but they usually put one in the oven for everybody. So there was only one. And oh, they're so good.
I actually make them because I lived in Brazil when I was in my 20s. And my kids love those. I think another thing too that, I mean, you were saying you have to prepare everything ahead of time. I definitely, if I'm going to be out all day with the kids, like if we're doing a homeschool field trip, or, you know, we have doctor's appointments, there's definitely been times, I guess I've been doing this since last November, over the past 4 or 5 months, where I have been out and about and I didn't have time to prepare things ahead of time. So like you were saying, just try and look for the healthiest option. But there's been times when, you know, whatever restaurant we're at doesn't have, you know, something to choose from.
It's really hard when you eat out.
So I've tried to just say, you know, okay, I'll have whatever I have so I don't starve today, but then try to be on track the next day. And I think giving yourself grace when you're not doing it 100%, just whatever choice you're making nudges you a little bit closer to your goal. So if you know, eat the birthday cake or the pie at the Christmas party, you know, not stressing about it is probably better for your health than being so worried about it all the time.
And I definitely try to teach people not to feel guilty. Because guilt is not good. Guilt is not good. And I know there was one question you had asked me earlier when we were talking about doing this video was, what do I do when people put pressure on me? And I want to know if you run into that as well. So I've been at meetings and people look down at my plate. Oh, well, you're just eating that today. And that it's not fun. I don't want to call it rude, but it's like, I don't want it to be brought to everybody's attention what I'm eating. And one group I go in is really great because there's vegetarians and there's people who are already eating weird stuff from India. You know, some of the doctors I eat with are Indian, so then I don't worry because nobody cares. Everybody's like, everybody's eating something different. But when I go in a group where everybody's bringing food and eats the same thing, everybody looks down at my plate and I have people making comments and that doesn't feel so great. So there is some pressure sometimes. And when people cook for you, you're like, oh my gosh, it's so nice for them to do it and you don't want to be rude. So it can be very difficult. And sometimes I tell people ahead of time, some of my friends know, you know, that people come to them and come to their house and they have food, not issues, but food preferences. So they ask, but sometimes people don't. And so I'm like, okay. So sometimes, you know, you do get stuck. I have not really been stuck except for the Christmas parties. I haven't really been stuck. So, you know, lately, but doesn't mean it won't happen in the future. Have you been in that kind of situation where you felt pressured?
And not even just now, but when I was, you know, nursing one of my children, she had a dairy allergy, so I couldn't have any dairy in the food I was eating because I was breastfeeding. And I know at, you know, getting family get-togethers and different things, I didn't want to be rude, but I also didn't want my infant to have, you know, severe intestinal distress because she got something from my milk. So I've definitely felt those things. You don't want to, you know, turn someone's like carefully prepared meal away, but you're also trying to pay attention to your health or, you know, the health of your family. So it's definitely a balance. I think maybe for me at this stage in my life, it's a little bit different because all of my friends are moms. So some of them have children with food allergies. Some of them have children, you know, who may have difficulties around textures or, you know, if they're on the spectrum and they have misophonia where you cannot hear people chewing, like different things. So I know a lot of people with different situations related to food. So I think maybe in that group, it's more common practice to be like, hey, what can you eat? What can you not eat?
It's become, more normal to be different.
And I mean, I'm a homeschool mom, so I'm like a little bit different anyway.
So definitely, you figure it out. And sometimes you just have to let people say what they say. You know, you just have to let it go and understand that people don't always get it, and that's okay, you know.
And I think on the flip side of that too is like, eating one way or the other is not necessarily bad or good. You know, everyone
Yep.
has to make the decisions that are right for them and their health and
Yep.
based on their budget and their time.
Yes.
You know, not everyone has all of the options, and everyone has different circumstances. So I think it's important to, like, I was trying to give myself grace for everyone to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
And not judge people's food choices, because sometimes it's not a choice. Like,
Yeah.
if it's,
Yeah.
you know, I've definitely been in situations where it's like my children have to be fed, and whatever food I have, like, that's
What they get. Yep.
You know. So.
And it can be difficult for people, affordability wise.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So this has been a really great topic for us to talk about, and hopefully this will be beneficial for folks